Question 15 is a function graph or a function question. So the first part of the question asks you to find f of x squared equals 43. Well, f of x squared just means you've got to shove x squared every time you get an x value in the original one. So what we've got is, we've got f of x squared equals 3x squared minus 5. It tells you that this thing is equal to 43, so you put it equal to 43, and then you have an equation, and all you've got to do is solve for x. So the first thing that we need to do is get rid of the minus 5, so if we add the 5 to that side you get 48. Leave your 3x squared where it is. Next thing that you need to do is get rid of the 3. 48 divided by 3 is 16, is equal to x squared. And what you've got to do is find all values of x. So this thing, the square root of 16 is between 4 and minus 4. So our values are between 4 and minus 4. Now the second part of the question, you get a graph. You need to work out what the graph looks like in between the two values. So the first one is about 0 and 4, so it wants to know what the graph is between those two values, and the next part is between 4 and 8, so it wants to know what the graph looks like between them two. It tells you here that y is equal to g of x, so it's talking about the y-axis when it mentions g of x. So here, when it's talking about the g of x, it's telling you that the g of x is between 0 and 12. So it just means the y-axis goes between 0 and 12. So the peak of this triangle goes to 12. So if you take the left-hand side of the graph first, we're talking about a straight line. We know that a straight line is y equals mx plus c. We know that c is where it crosses the y-intercept. So if you have a look at this line here, it crosses the y-intercept at 0. You know that you need a y and an x, and all you've got to do now is find the gradient. The gradient of this is the difference in y's divided by the difference in x's. So this graph goes up 12 and it goes 4 along. So as it goes up 12 it goes 4 in the x direction. So the difference in y divided by the difference in x is 3. So we know that that equation there is y equals 3x. So this bit here is 3x. The next part of the question is the right-hand side. Now we know that if the gradient of this is 3, we must know that the gradient of this is minus 3. It's got the same steepness except it's going in the opposite direction. So we know that this is y equals minus 3x plus c. Now the problem here this time is the c part. You can't see where this graph goes through the y-axis. It's going to go up and up and up and up, and it's going to cross the y-axis at some point. So what we need to do is put in a point that we know. Now the easiest point to use on the line is this one, the 8, 0 point. So if we use the point 8, 0, which it goes through that line, y is 0, x is 8, so minus 3 times 8 is minus 24 plus c, which means that c is 24. So the equation of this line is y equals minus 3x plus 24. And that is what goes on that line down there.